In the year 1876, in a city where progress was measured by smoking chimneys and time by the clang of factory gongs, there lived a man named Orion Blackwood. His name echoed like the whisper of ancient forests and starry skies, yet his life ticked like a pocket watch, precise, relentless, and bound to the great mill of the future. Orion was a mine manager, a master not only at carving coal from the earth, but also at mining dreams for a tomorrow that never seemed to arrive. His present, however, was nothing but a dark cavern, lit only by the promise of brighter days ahead. To Orion, the present was merely dust beneath his boots. The moment he lived in was a narrow tunnel leading toward a vast and glittering gallery, what he called the Chamber of Future Happiness. He repeated phrases like a monk's chant, words that kept him working, but also kept him chained. When I become superintendent, I'll take my family to see the sea. When my railway investments flourish, I'll host a grand ball. When I retire, I will finally enjoy life. He was a hoarder of whens. When production reached its peak, when the trains whistled his wealth into being, when the sums were finally enough. His words were like coal he stacked onto the wagon of his dreams, coal he never burned to warm his present life. Orion's youth had been a fertile field of opportunities. He had once planned hunting trips with friends, carriage rides at sunset with his beloved, stolen hours to devote to photography, the new art of light. But there was always a greater when standing in the way. The hunting trip became when I have fewer responsibilities at the mine. The carriage ride became when I own a finer carriage. Photography became when the lenses are perfected and my schedule allows. Maturity came upon him like the smoke of a locomotive, rolling in and smothering that field of dreams until it became nothing but an extension of the mine. Orion became a tireless excavator, digging deeper and deeper veins of professional success. His life was a pickaxe, swung day after day, always aimed at the richest seam. With every strike, wealth grew more tangible, yet the distance to sunlight, to the small daily wonders of life, grew wider. The warmth of his wife, the laughter of his children, the camaraderie of his friends, all of it became distractions on his road to tomorrow. He married, he fathered heirs, but the promises of time together remained buried in production reports, postponed to a when that never arrived. And then one day, the when finally did. Orion retired, not to the clink of champagne glasses, but to the silence of a mind that no longer required his command. He was at last the master of his own time. The yellowed travel letters lay ready for their dream crossings. The mansion, once meant for grand dances, now echoed with solitary footsteps. His fortune, solid and abundant, could at last purchase all the luxuries he had promised. But health, that neglected companion, did not sit at the banquet table. Orion's lungs, worn from years of inhaling the mine's dust, were weak. His spirit, drained by the long march of ambition, had no strength left to explore the world. The people he had reserved for someday had long since charted their own paths. His wife, weary of waiting for a journey that never came, had departed. His children, grown, built industries of their own, carrying their own unfinished promises of when. Seated in his opulent parlor, the very room he had sworn to fill with music and guests, Orion gazed through the frosted glass window. The streets below glowed golden under the gas lamps, but their light never reached his eyes. And in that moment, he saw with cruel clarity the bitterest truth of his existence. He had spent a lifetime building an empire for the future, and in doing so had forgotten to inhabit the present. He lived with his eyes fixed on tomorrow, yet ended up shackled to yesterday. Happiness, he realized too late, was never a port to arrive at, never a title, never a retirement date. It was the hunt he didn't take, the carriage ride he postponed, the melody he never stopped to hear. It was the nows he ignored while chasing the winds. Life, he understood at last, is not a waiting room. It is a journey, meant to be savored in each moment like a photograph developing before your very eyes. And the greatest tragedy is not failing to reach a goal, but discovering too late that in longing for something distant, you have lost everything you already possessed. The story of Orion Blackwood, born in the age of steam and innovation, still whispers its warning to us today. Are we too always projecting happiness into the future? And what precious moments are we sacrificing right now, in this very breath, in the same restless pursuit?